Let's look at it from this angle. If you go to a place like United Kingdom, you know that where you live is registered and there's a central data about who lives in that property, how many children you have there, what the ages of those people in that property is, and you pay your council tax, you pay your poll tax, you pay all the taxes by virtue of the fact that you can be traced to your house. Now, when you register your car as well, it's registered and tied to the address of that property, so that if they're looking for that car, they know where to go, and they know who lives in that property. But we don't have that in Nigeria. There are a lot of people who are danfo drivers of no fixed address. And the only way you can tie a vehicle to an individual is probably their fingerprints. I don't know where you go and find people's fingerprints, but do you think that there is a possibility that because of the problem of quality data, this might be a good reason why government is taking this action?
The reason, the information you have just given is exactly what is happening. Mr. Odidika talked about what is going on in Lagos State. If you go there and, you know, all they need to do is just to key in your vehicle number, and then it ties everything, all the information, where you live and so on and so forth, they're all there. So if you're a danfo driver, for instance, of no fixed abode, like you said, the owner of the vehicle has a fixed abode. The owner of the vehicle, if there's, you know, a problem, will be traced, and he has to fish out the driver of that, you know, danfo. This is, you know, what we're talking about. I understand that it's important we have this information, yes, for the purpose of security and the rest. If you notice, since this debate has started, nobody has talked about, you know, the unviability of the BCMR project. I mean, it's accepted by everybody that if it will help to enhance security in the country, it should be done. But what people have been complaining about is the process that is being used to get to it. Since, like we have already established even in this discourse, that you already have this information out there. And so all that is needed, and in fact, you know, the operations of the police is, of course, you know, is authorized by the laws of this country. And so it's a federal police who are still operating. Even if you're operating a state police, there will be some level of synergy between the federal police and the state police. But as it is, nobody, no agency of government in any of the states can hinder, you know, access to the Nigerian police in terms of going through their data bank if they want to get any particular, you know, information about any particular vehicle owner that they want to get at. It is very, very clear. You know.
Mr. Didika, this thing is only talking about cars and tricycles and motorcycles. There are 170 million Nigerians. 1. 2, to have those vehicles, whether it's a car, a tricycle, or a motorbike, to have them on the road, you will have registered them with road safety. Well, not registered, at least to be able to drive them. You have a license which has been given to you by road safety, and to get that permit to drive, they have your biometrics. So couldn't the police have just gone straight to road safety and collected all the data? Because all the data that road safety has is of people who are either driving cars or driving tricycles or driving motorcycles, which is what the police want, the exact information that the police want, A to Z. So wouldn't it have been easier to just go to road safety and just carry all that information from road safety?
How much money would they have made if they did that?
Okay, that's another point.
You see, just like Mr. Chude said, the data is important. We need data. If you go to developed societies, wherever you live, no matter how remote it is, has an address. And I don't see why it's so difficult for us to do here. Lagos State is now doing registration of residents. Nobody comes near my area. I built my house, I built my road, I maintain my road. And I pay tax. I've personally written to the governor. But he's a listening governor, even though in my own case, he hasn't listened. That is an unfortunate situation. You need to know where people reside, so that as I buy a car, as you already know my address. I don't have to start chasing you. You see people jumping, policemen, harassment people and all that, jumping out the road. In fact, federal safety people some years ago jumped in front of me, and then he broke the side mirror of my Land Rover then. And I told him, we are very responsible. We are suicidal. see that you don't know what you're doing. You are very, very responsible. But I'm sure he did that because maybe you said, if I take this man's number, how do I locate him? But he didn't have to do that if there was proper data. Because what do you need to do? Assuming I even drove recklessly, take the number. Then I see I'm getting the
court summons.
Either court summons or fine or whatever it is
Yes.
in my box.
Yes.
But because we don't have that, and we don't even work towards having that, we are having all the ad hoc arrangements just for us to line our pockets.
No, I think they're working towards it now. I think they're working towards it
Lagos or Nigeria or the other state governors.
Well, I don't know which one it is, because let me tell you what happened. I complained about the process of renewing driver's licenses here because I had actually tried the system. I was told you go on the internet and you do this and you do that. I went on the internet, just punched in the number on my current driver's license, and all my information came out. I must tell you, I mean, I was quite impressed.
Kudos to FRSC.
I was impressed. All my details came out. Just punch the number on your card. My name, where I live, where I work, everything just came out on the computer. And I thought, wow, we're making progress.
We really are.
So we
Subject to
are.
availability of network.
That's one. That's another department of federal government.
That's another.
Now we're talking about communication.
But even the driver we're talking about.
Yeah.
You see a lot of people, you don't need to be a driving instructor to know that these people, if they have driver's license, they could not have obtained them through the normal process.
Legitimately.
And I'm talking about majority of the road users.
True.
When, well, they'll say those good old days. Those days, before we got our driver's license.
We drove through drums.
Oh my God.
To weave around.
After being trained,
drums
they will test
were set and you
any
had to
little
weave.
mistake, you're failed.
Yes. Yes.
And then you have to know all the road signs and all that.
Yes.
And they now tell us, assume that every other person on the road is a mad man, but they're the only same person. These days, all of them are mad. And they go there, they tell them, I think you need to be mad to get your license. And you see some people who are driving these damn fools you're talking about. I don't even know what work really the police and the road safety are doing, because some of the times you see these damn fool drivers driving recklessly with no brake light. I mean, everything is broken.
Yes.
The road safety man passes him and stops you because he expects to get money from you. You're driving a relatively good car, so that's the guy I collect money from.
And yet you need roadworthiness for your brand new car.
My brand new car, yes. I went to
and all those broken down
Land
roads.
what do you call it? Land Cruiser. I say roadworthiness, all these funny things. I said, this car was brand new here. And you've seen some funny vehicles on the road. And
have you noticed the PSP vehicles? You know, those ones, the refuse disposal, those big trucks and the rest. They don't have headlamps, they don't have side mirrors, they don't have good brakes, and so on and so forth.
And tires.
And
yes,
they have roadworthiness.
Exactly, they have roadworthiness. VIO does not stop them. Last man does not stop
with
them.
my new car
because they are related to government. I mean, these are some of the issues, even in Lagos State here. I mean, the level of discrimination sometimes is they have absolutely nothing. And yet, nobody stops them, nobody challenges them. So these are some of the contradictions, really, when you talk about some of these things.
Okay, so when we look at all the contradictions and we're looking for solution to this kind of problem we have, should the solution be focused on what the police is doing or what the police should be doing?
Both.
Okay.
Because you have to know what they're doing, to know they're doing it in a wrong manner. To not tell them this is what you ought to be doing.
Okay, what would you say that the police ought to be doing at
First
this
of all,
point in time?
easily access the data from those that already have the data. Your sister
let me play an advocate, not a devil's one, because I wouldn't want to call the police devil.
Okay, the angels.
The angel.
Okay.
Well, I'm not even sure the police will claim to be angelic, but let me play an advocate of some sort and say that the police position might be that the quality of the data that you find with the FRSC may not be exactly what they want to capture.
That's, first of all, that presupposes that they've already obtained those data and found them to be insufficient.
Yes.
But if I heard, and I know I watched Mr. Osista Chidoka, the FRC that's chairman, right? Called Marshall. I watched him on Sunrise Daily. And he said he was as surprised as all of us. So that means, because there's no way police could make such inquiry without the commercial knowing. Because it will be from IG to the commercial. So they never made such inquiry. They never made such a request. They just woke up And instead of that, look, you know what, these people are gullible. 3,005, they'll say it's a small amount of money.
But
you should
you
also have
must
the paying it.
remember as well that 8,000 is what is said to be charged by the FRSC for whatever information they've captured. But because there was that allegation that the police will be charging less to get your biometrics.
Question is, if FRS is already doing it, even if it's at 100,000 naira per person, that doesn't justify it anyway. But if it's already doing it, that means Nigerians have already started paying 100,000 naira for that. Why charge them even 1 naira again? Unless you're terminating the FRSC zone and say refund Nigerians their money, then you Nigerians move over to police and go and pay them 3,005. And I'm asking.
And then we will get our biometrics from the police.
Yes, and I'm even asking anyway, what's all this charging? Nigerians pay their taxes.
Some.
At least we have oil money enough for them to be stealing. Those kind of amounts they steal these days, they steal in trillions. I might just say right away here, because corruption has become so usual that we now assume it's normal. That is why a public servant can have his or her child abroad pay school fees. Any public servant whose child is abroad schooling is a thief, unless you're on scholarship. I don't care who, the cadre of that person is a thief, because your salary cannot maintain that.
Salary cannot.
Yes. So, because we assume that corruption is usual, then these things don't matter. And that's why they come and say 3,005. It's not much. Nigerians will pay. Even people selling paper can pay 3,005. Multiply it. 3,005 times all the car owners in Nigeria. You know how much the gas in police will be taking home.